an interstellar object whirling through our solar system is actually a nuclear-powered spacecraft.
Something is happening in our solar system that has never happened before in recorded history.
You're talking about something the size of a star, the sun, an octillion tons of mass or something like that, getting flung away way faster than a
And
right.
NASA is panicking, not because of what they found, but because of what's answering back. At 3:42 a.m. on October 17th, 2025, a signal was detected. Faint, rhythmic, deliberate. It came from 3I Atlas, the mysterious interstellar object hurtling toward our sun. At first, scientists thought it was static, but within minutes, they realized something chilling. The pattern wasn't random. It repeated every 11.3 seconds, cycling with mathematical precision. Within 5 hours, the signal strength had increased by 340%. That's not a glitch, that's behavior. And the frequency? 1.42 gigahertz. The exact frequency hydrogen emits, the one scientists believe any advanced civilization would use to make contact. Because hydrogen is universal. Every species capable of communication would recognize it. So if someone wanted to say hello, that's the channel they'd use. But this wasn't a friendly greeting. 3 days later, the signal changed, and this time, it was pointing directly at Earth. The Deep Space Network facility in Goldstone, California, was operating normally that night. Shift Supervisor Dr. Elena Rodriguez was monitoring cosmic noise, the usual hum of stars and radiation. Then suddenly, the instruments spiked, not randomly, not chaotically, in perfect, evenly spaced bursts. 11 seconds apart, she wrote in her internal report, each pulse identical in shape and duration. This isn't nature, this is engineering. The signal wasn't just repeating, it was layered. Inside the main pulse were smaller sub-patterns every 1.7 seconds, and inside those, micro-oscillations every 290 milliseconds. It was like discovering a language written in frequencies, each layer hiding new meaning. NASA ruled out interference, satellites, ground transmissions, classified projects, everything, all negative. Then came the impossible truth. The signal originated inside 3I Atlas, an object already known for its hollow structure, its unnatural deceleration, and its precision alignment with Earth's orbit. It wasn't just passing by, it was looking right at us. And as NASA watched, the pattern began to evolve, as if it knew it was being observed. When engineers decoded the data, the room fell silent. The signal wasn't noise, it was information. Inside the first waveform were prime numbers, the universal signature of intelligence. Buried deeper were ratios of hydrogen and carbon, the foundation of all known life. But what truly broke science was what came next. Phase shift encoding, the same system humans use to send digital information through radio. This wasn't an accident. Someone, or something, was trying to communicate. SETI cryptographer Dr. Sarah Chen analyzed the patterns for hours. She ran every known astrophysical test, checked for pulsars, checked for cosmic interference. Her report was short, classified, and horrifying. Probability of natural origin? 0.003%. Probability of artificial design? 99.7%. That was the night NASA went dark. Servers locked, data restricted, access revoked for civilian researchers, and all telescopes capable of tracking Atlas were suddenly redirected, without public explanation. But while NASA buried the truth, something else was changing. The signal stopped broadcasting outward. It began to focus. October 20th, 11:15 p.m. Eastern Time. The world slept, while a few scientists watched something impossible unfold. For 3 days, the signal from 3I Atlas had been stable, rhythmic, predictable, like a cosmic heartbeat echoing through the void. Then, without warning, everything changed. The once steady wave twisted, sharpened, and became a beam. At the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, reactivated under emergency orders, engineers stared at the data feed in disbelief. The emission that had previously scattered across space was now compressed into a razor-thin line of electromagnetic energy. It was directional, and the coordinates it locked onto weren't random star systems or empty sky. It was aimed straight at Earth. The calculations came in waves of disbelief. Atlas's rotation had shifted with microscopic precision, within a margin of error smaller than 1/10,000th of a degree. To move an interstellar object that accurately across millions of kilometers requires engineering beyond anything humanity has ever built. It would demand power on a planetary scale. NASA confirmed it. The Deep Space Network at Goldstone, Canberra, and Madrid all received identical readings. The object wasn't radiating outward, it was communicating inward. Dr. Elena Rodriguez described the moment later in a leaked transcript. The signal pattern snapped into alignment like a magnet finding its pole. It wasn't drifting, it was looking at us. And as telescopes focused on the source, the pulse began to change. It synchronized with Earth's rotation, matching our 24-hour cycle almost perfectly. Each night, as North America turned toward it, the signal intensified. Each morning, as we rotated away, it dimmed, a pattern so specific that it left no room for coincidence. Something inside that object was tracking us, not our position, but our movement, our rhythm, our heartbeat as a planet. By the following day, the frequency modulation began showing new layers, ultra-low harmonics pulsing in ratios identical to brainwave pattern. Some engineers joked nervously that the signal was learning us, adapting to our biosignatures. No one laughed long, because if the beam could be targeted with such precision, then so could whatever came next. And what terrified everyone wasn't the power of the signal, it was its intention. It didn't sound like a greeting, it felt like a lock-on. And with perihelion, the closest approach to the sun, only 9 days away, humanity was running out of time to decide whether to keep listening or to start hiding. By now, this should have been the biggest story on Earth. A directional signal from an interstellar object, verified by multiple space agencies, yet not a single headline. The world knew nothing, and that wasn't an accident. Inside NASA headquarters in Washington, D.C., a protocol was quietly activated, one most employees didn't even know existed. The Interstellar Discovery Containment Framework, written after the Oumuamua incident in 2017. It dictates exactly what happens if humanity ever detects evidence of non-terrestrial intelligence. Step 1. Restrict data flow. Step 2. Classify all transmissions. Step 3. Inform the National Security Council. Step 4. Absolute silence for at least 72 hours while verification occurs behind closed doors. That window came and went. No statement, no press conference, just quiet corridors, encrypted servers, and deleted public logs from the Deep Space Network. Scientists began noticing strange directives, requests to halt research, emails disappearing, telescopes reassigned under vague maintenance orders. Even SETI's public dashboards, normally transparent, went dark. Across the ocean, the European Space Agency followed suit. China's Chang'e program stopped releasing telemetry. The International Astronomical Union froze updates to its Discovery Registry. A global hush descended, as if every observatory on Earth had agreed to look away at the same time. But not everyone obeyed. A handful of insiders began leaking fragments of internal communication. One thread between senior NASA officials read simply, "Public disclosure suspended until post-perihelion outcome confirmed." That phrase, post-perihelion outcome, sent chills through anyone who saw it. It implied they were waiting for something to happen, something they already expected. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, monitoring Atlas through his Galileo project, broke ranks and published an open statement on his blog. "We are witnessing institutional paralysis in the face of the extraordinary. Science is being replaced by fear management. The silence speaks louder than the signal itself." Governments called him alarmist, but behind the scenes, military satellites quietly repositioned. Private companies received classified contracts for orbital surveillance, and deep within NORAD's command network, new tracking identifiers appeared, all labeled Object 3IA. What they were preparing for, no one outside the system knew. But every insider report pointed to the same chilling reality. Whatever Atlas was, they believed it was about to change. And with each hour of silence, the tension on Earth grew heavier. Because silence in science isn't peace, it's preparation. As word leaked from NASA's encrypted servers, the scientific world erupted behind closed doors. Every astrophysicist, cryptographer, and military analyst with access to classified data began forming theories, each one more disturbing than the last. No one dared say it out loud, but the truth was unavoidable. We were witnessing something intelligent. The question was, what kind of intelligence? Scenario 1, the probe. The most conservative scientists called it the Voyager hypothesis. According to them, 3I Atlas could be an ancient interstellar probe, launched thousands, maybe millions, of years ago by a civilization long extinct. Its mission? To map, observe, and record intelligent life as it drifts through the galaxy. The 11.3-second signal could be its heartbeat, a beacon confirming it's still operational. The layered data inside the transmission might be a compressed archive, a logbook of every world it has encountered. In this version, we're not special. We're just the latest species it has found. But that theory doesn't explain its deceleration. Natural objects don't slow down in space, they speed up near a star due to gravity. Atlas, on the other hand, is braking. Something, or someone, is controlling its motion, and that's where the next theory begins. Scenario 2, the warning. The warning hypothesis is darker. It suggests that the timing of the signal, just days before perihelion, isn't coincidence. It's a countdown. Remember the hollow interior? Radar scans revealed cavities large enough to hold objects the size of small satellites. What if those aren't empty chambers? What if they're launch bays? As it swings behind the sun, the one moment we can't observe it, it could release smaller units throughout our solar system, silent, invisible, and perfectly camouflaged. Probes disguised as asteroids, nanomachines hidden in the solar wind, eyes and ears meant to watch us forever. And the signal? It could be a declaration, a warning disguised as mathematics. We are here. We are watching. Do not interfere. For those who believe this theory, the perihelion blackout isn't just a period of silence. It's the moment of deployment, the event that future historians might call the day humanity lost control of its skies. Scenario 3, the test. Then there's the final theory, the one that even the military refuses to discuss publicly, the test hypothesis. What if Atlas was designed to provoke us, to see how we react to the unknown, to measure our curiosity, our fear, our unity, or our chaos? Think about it. The signal didn't start until we pointed our telescopes at it. It grew stronger the longer we observed it, almost as if it was listening to us listen. Every government's immediate response was identical. Lockdown, censorship, secrecy. And that behavior, to an outside observer, says everything. We hid the truth. We panicked. We fought for control of the narrative. If this is a test, then humanity just failed the first question. Maybe it isn't a message at all. Maybe it's a mirror. A reflection designed to show us who we really are when the universe finally speaks back. A civilization that cannot face truth doesn't deserve contact. And if that's what Atlas is evaluating, then the silence from NASA isn't protecting us, it's condemning us. Mathematically, the odds of Atlas being natural are practically zero. Its hollow interior, its controlled deceleration, its flawless orbit within 5 degrees of Earth's ecliptic plane, its impossible timing with Mars and Earth's alignments. And now, an intelligent directional radio signal. Individually, these are coincidences. Together, they're an equation, one that ends with the same conclusion: intentional design. If Atlas is a probe, then somewhere out there, someone built it. A civilization capable of crossing interstellar space, surviving for millennia, and communicating through hydrogen's most sacred frequency. A civilization older, wiser, and far beyond anything we can imagine. But if it's not a probe, if it's a ship, a vessel hiding behind technology so advanced it appears inert, then what happens when it wakes up? Scientists are terrified for one reason. The signal is growing stronger every day. It's not fading as it approaches the sun. It's amplifying. Something inside is powering up, and we don't know why. When it passes behind the sun on October 29th, every telescope will go blind. No radar, no visual feed, no signal tracking. For 3 weeks, we'll have no idea what's happening. And when it emerges again in late November, we may not recognize the sky we see. If it's a probe, maybe it continues its journey. If it's a weapon, maybe it doesn't. And if it's a message, maybe it's waiting for our reply. The last internal NASA memo leaked before the blackout was short, only 2 sentences long. Prepare for post-perihelion observation. Expect signal variation. Those words have haunted every scientist who's read them. Because signal variation could mean anything. A change in frequency, or a final transmission. The universe is vast, cold, and indifferent. For centuries, we've looked up at the stars asking if we're alone. Now something may have answered, not with warmth or light, but with math, precision, and silence. And maybe that's how advanced life speaks, not with emotion, but with equations, not to comfort us, but to test whether we deserve to understand. If the signal returns stronger, if Atlas shifts its trajectory, or if something new appears in our sky, then the question that haunted humanity will finally end. We are not alone. We never were. And the real mystery isn't what's out there. It's whether we're ready to face it when it arrives. Because the countdown has already begun. And this time, the universe isn't asking, it's watching.